from my standpoint, I think MACH is going to be the next generation of cool technology architecture for e-commerce, and I think you guys have started way back, and you have that head start into this MACH journey, and it will be exciting to see what's up ahead.
So hi everybody, my name is Dirk, I'm co-founder and CEO of commercetools. Thanks for having you here, and with me today is Sree, CTO of Sephora. Hi Sree, and thanks for being with us here. Before I hand the mic over to you, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself, your journey? You had been a long time with Walmart Labs, then later on went over to Sephora. What's motivating you first in business, and also what is your overall responsibility at Sephora?
Thank you, Dirk. Hello everyone. As they said, I'm Chief Technology Officer of Sephora, and I started my career with Sephora about 2017, and before that, as you said, I was with Walmart Labs. Started everything with retail background, and retail has been always exciting. Just because of the consumer needs have been changing ever since. Like when I started, it was about .com boom and working for Best Buy as one of the client, and I was doing some consulting work for them to define the e-commerce strategy for them, and slowly grew into the role into Walmart, and then worked for Walmart Labs, defining e-commerce strategy for their 19 different geographies. And then 2017, when I started with Sephora, I never thought that such a small piece, which was the case in Walmart, it used to be a small revenue source from a beauty standpoint, and I never thought that the journey in Sephora is going to be as challenging as I thought. And when I came in, it was exciting to see the opportunities just from the technology standpoint, that what we have and what we could do for the consumer side, just from the experience and what we can achieve. And that's the exciting thing which is keeping me right now in Sephora too. I mean, we started that journey 5 years back, and we have still a lot to do.
So, can you tell us a little bit about the digital journey of Sephora? When was actually the first online order? So when met Sephora the step to sell beauty products online? And what was the journey till today on the digital architecture?
So I don't know exact date when we had the first order, but we have been in the forefront of digital. We started as the first retailer, specialty retailer, to have a website presence, and we were the first one to have a mobile app presence. And with that, I think the journey has been exciting from the day one, right? I mean, just the entry into the digital and learning from the consumer needs, and then growing slowly as an organization to scale at the point where we are today, when just because of the pandemic, we were the only retailer, I would say, which had about 200% growth in digital because of stores being closed. At certain point in Sephora's time, that digital was the only revenue income, right? And then it started about 2020 is when I would say that we started seeing a lot more demand in the speed at which the consumer demands are changing, and we started seeing some of the bottlenecks on the technology side, that we had to make things faster and retrieve things faster. And that came into this, the approach for MACH, right? And being a MACH ambassador, and I've been in the MACH journey for a long time. Before that, it was not just called MACH, right? I mean, it was microservices, and people were talking about cloud and headless journey, and we started our headless journey about 5 years back, and that kind of gave us pretty head start on the consumer side of the experiences, which we could turn around super fast, but there were the back-end things which were still slowing us down. And that's when we started looking at some of the technology architecture and defining what makes sense to exit out from the big monoliths out the world and getting into more composable nature of architecture and so on. And that's how I came here and met you guys, and I find that you guys have pretty strong product which you have built over the last 5 years and proven architecture with some retailers in the world, right? So why not, right? I mean, being MACH ambassador also means that I need to take that step and the trust in the architecture and getting in relation with you guys to see how we can take Sephora and commercetools to the next level.
No, and we really love you as our customer. But let's get for a second to the story of MACH. Not everybody is probably yet familiar with this. So on the one hand, how would you describe it? So these microservice, API first, cloud native and headless. So what's the benefit for the business? Because you also probably need the business buy-in. And how do you see the overall evolution of MACH, right? So you're being at Sephora a pioneer on adapting a couple of these MACH vendors that are also around here at Shoptalk, including us. So what's your take on that?
I think MACH has been there forever. It's just that it did not come out as a word, which is today, right? As I said, when I started my career with Walmart Labs, that's when I came across the composable architectures and the need for it, because as you can imagine, being the Fortune 1 company and with the scale of Walmart, you need to have that kind of nature of speed and agility to move, right? And some of these monoliths, they don't give you that. So just to give the background of MACH, I mean, microservices is all about composability of what you can achieve and how you can achieve, right? API is just to support your headless nature, and it works hand in hand, API first versus headless. Headless just means that you manage your experiences and the business needs differently than the back-end architecture of the services itself. Then comes the cloud native aspects, which is where you actually, I mean, if you just think about 10 years back, we as all technology organization needed to buy hardware, go physically into data centers, push those hardwares and test network and then install softwares on top of it, and then do all the error handling, maintenance and whatnot. But in the current world, I mean, the technology has grown so much that you don't have to really invest a lot into infrastructure component. It's all available on the cloud. So take use of those elasticity of the cloud so that you can work and expand with the business, right? And that gives you much more flexibility and agility which you need in the upcoming future. So from my standpoint, I think MACH is going to be the next generation of cool technology architecture for e-commerce, and I think you guys have started way back, and you have that head start into this MACH journey, and it'll be exciting to see what's up ahead.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so one last question. What's next on the digital side for Sephora? What are digital initiatives that you are focusing on probably for the next 12 to 24 months?
I think we, as I said, about 2 years back, when we had drastic change in consumer demand, and not just because of the pandemic, but just the nature of things around the market, like whether you talk about the privacy world changing, and that causes the consumers to be more worried, at the same time demanding more and more experiences which are personalized to them. So we as Sephora, I mean, we had a great talk today from one of our VP of e-commerce, and she was talking about personalization being such a core value for Sephora, because we have amazing client base. We have large number of loyalty clients, and they are willing to give us the data as long as we use it for personalization and giving back to what is relevant for them. So that's one of the big things which we are focusing on. This another thing which we have been focusing on the last 2 years is the omni journey, which is how do we define the merger of the physical retail world, which is what we started with.
Yep.
And even though we had a digital presence, I think we did not marry them both, and we had to look at like how do we bring that consistency in experiences and additional features like buy online, pick up in store, or even today we are one of the specialty retailers who are offering products on the same day delivery. And how do we keep that demand coming in from the consumers, and how do we support that? And that's going to be next few years of journey. And we are also investing a lot in the technology, as you can see with commercetool introduction. I think that says a lot that we are truly invested in a technology-driven organization which can drive the business to the next level.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all these insights with us, Sree. And wish you all the luck for the next steps. And happy to be a proud customer partner of yours. Thank you so much.